what's up?
Hello and welcome to another episode of First and Last. I am Josh, along with Joe.
Hey, man.
And returning guest, Claire.
Hey. That was weird.
Hey.
I don't know
That's
why
perfect.
that came out.
You want to do it again? I promise I'll totally won't keep both of these in. And returning guest, Claire.
Hey.
Yeah.
That was weird too.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep both of those in.
I like,
Tweet
when's
at
the
us
last
and
time
tell
you've
us.
ever edited? Like,
I edit all the time. What are you talking about?
You should
Okay.
try like a Heidi Ho neighboroonies.
no, I'm not Jimmy. He does that.
Okily dokily.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were going with the Ned Flanders type thing.
Oh, is that... Did I switch that up?
Neighborinos?
What were you trying to do?
I was trying to... What does Urkel say?
I don't know.
Heidi Ho Winslow's or something?
No.
But that
Oh, he
leads-
does say Heidi Ho.
Heidi ho, Lynn.
But it's like, what? Like, God, what's his tagline? Hey guys,
Did I do that?
Did I do that?
What's his tagline?
That's my tagline. Don't steal it.
Okay. Well, today we're going to do a show. We're going to do, because Claire's here, we picked a
Special.
very special show.
A very
sequel,
special episode.
sequel to Lost. Found.
Found?
It was a joke because because Claire looked at me so confused.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hope Slays.
We're doing the sequel to Lost. We've been tricking you and saying we're doing Family Matters this whole time.
There is no sequel to Lost. It ended with the eye. It's done.
Okay, you're right.
The Eye?
Not that I didn't hate that show.
Oh, Jack's Eye.
Or like the show or whatever. It was fine.
It was fine.
I liked Frasier way better.
But we're doing Family Matters, actually,
Family Matters.
which is good. Before we get
We
into...
used to call this Urkel, though. Did anybody else?
You just called the show Urkel?
My family just like would refer to it as, we're going to watch Urkel.
So your mom's like, quit watching Urkel, go upstairs.
Okay, that was the one sex episode. I shouldn't have told you about it. I got kicked out of watching
You know how
Family
Urkel
Matters.
can get raunchy sometimes?
Well, I think it was the older girl. I forget her name.
I don't know her name.
Laura?
Laura
Laura?
Winslow.
Oh, yeah.
She was like gonna have sex, and my mom made me and my little brother go upstairs. Well, my mom and my two other brothers who are older got to watch it.
Claire, you go upstairs. We're going to stay and watch this.
Okay, I don't think my mom talks like that.
Well, when you're
Joe's
away,
laughing a lot, so maybe she does.
when you're not around and your mom's watching sexy things with your brothers, she's like,
My brothers.
let's do this. Isn't
No.
No?
I don't.
That's too much.
I don't know. I went to Catholic school. My mom was just trying to keep me safe and chaste and things.
Oh yeah, because everything Catholic back in the 90s and 2000s was real safe.
So safe. But yeah, you guys didn't call it Urkel?
I can't recall really.
Alright.
My favorite part about it is that Carl Winslow is in Die Hard. That's my favorite thing about Family Matters.
He's great.
I
And-
thought he was dead, but I like just looked him up a moment ago and he's alive.
No, when he like does a cameo on a show, I die. It's like, oh my gosh,
Claire
it's
dies.
Carl.
He kills Claire, but he is forever.
Forever, he will not die.
Carl.
Joe, how does this show work? Not Family Matters, but first and last.
We pick a TV show. Sometimes we've seen it, sometimes we haven't. Most of the time we haven't. We watch the first episode, talk about it, make some predictions for the last episode, and we watch the very last episode with nothing in between, and that's how we enjoy a TV show.
It's how I enjoy most of my TV.
I thought you were going to say that's how you enjoy most things. It's just like, just the beginning and the end, please. Whenever you eat a sandwich, just you take a first bite, and then you turn it around and take a last bite.
Okay, no one turns
That's how I eat
around.
a burrito, and it all falls out the other side.
But
No.
who cares at that point, because you just throw the rest away.
Yeah.
I don't know, but have you ever seen Joe eat a sandwich? Because he eats it in a circle, and it's so fun to watch.
Like all crust first.
He goes around.
Or even like a burger. Like,
he likes to make it even bites.
yeah, I eat all the around parts
Uh-huh.
because those are the parts that are uneven and the things hanging out, so that when you get to the end, it's all just like even proportions of everything.
I'm not mad about that.
It's so fun to watch.
kind of interested.
It brings me joy. And today he got a sandwich. You'll get to see it.
Oh yeah, you will.
Oh yeah, Joe isn't eating tacos with us tonight. He's eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
And it's like a messy sandwich, like a lot of different kinds of things. So it'll be seeing me take like weird bites.
Maybe we should take a picture of it and put it on like the YouTube like the title page, like when you put the pod up on YouTube.
I'll take a picture of it and I'll tweet it out tonight of just Joe eating
Oh.
the sandwich.
And I'll just say, in 3 weeks, this will matter. Trust me.
Yeah. guys, in 3 weeks, you'll care. You'll care. Couple things that I do want to clear up. Joe, you're still watching Lost.
Yeah. And it's like leaving Netflix, which I'm sad about. But I recently found out that it's moving to Hulu, so I could keep on watching. But I'm like, what's like 6 seasons or something?
There's 6 seasons.
I'm like
in it.
towards the end of season 3. So, and I've only gotten like more and more into it as I've been watching.
Have they gone back in time yet? When do they?
Oh my gosh, the back and forth and the
Yeah.
sideways travel.
Are they in the 70s yet? Or
No,
whatever it is?
no time travel yet. At this point, they're like, in like the last 2 episodes I just watched, they're just like, oh yeah, we're all dead. Yeah, this is hell.
Oh, that's just what they've decided.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why people are confused about the ending because they
because
said
they
they
watched
were
the
all
first
dead
3
at some point.
seasons.
Yeah, because they watched the
well,
show.
I bet there were a lot of people that did only watch like the first couple seasons and watch the end of it.
Yeah,
It was a really big deal. It's one of the shows that was a really big deal when it was a finale.
You guys already told me.
Yeah. Do you remember? Should we just watch Lost again tonight?
I mean, we could if you guys want to. I'm a guest.
Claire's like, okay, I'll do it. But more importantly, I finished Frasier.
Ooh.
I haven't yet. I'm almost to season 11.
I finished Frasier.
My little
11
brother is ahead of
seasons.
me.
11 seasons. This is episode 19. I finished it last week, but I forgot to talk about it. And then we were talking about... We were talking at the end of the episode of last week, and I was like, well, I'm not going to just bring up the fact that I finished Frasier at like an hour into the podcast. So...
Like, not gonna bring in that brag at the end. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta
well-
put that up front.
Well, I just wanted to I want to get out of the way because we're going to get into Family Matters, and I don't want to like...
Oh, are you gonna start watching Family Matters? You
No,
think?
probably not, but I wouldn't know. We have to watch it. I am watching... So, back to Frasier, because it's important.
Yeah. Okay. So, did you watch the last episode again?
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good question.
I did.
And did you feel like you got to see arcs in the show, or did
show-
you see it change?
Frasier's one of the best shows ever made.
I would totally agree.
This show's amazing. It's so good. There's not bad parts in that show.
I think I'm at the point though that I don't want it to end. Like, I'm so close.
Oh, are you gonna do that thing where like you don't finish it because you
I
don't want it to end?
might. I might be more like at like I'll do like, but maybe I'll just like get through it.
Yeah, because don't you feel a little weird now? It's like, what are you gonna use to fill your like Frasier hole?
I'm using a Netflix show called Glitch, and it's it's completely different. I couldn't do a comedy or like a sitcom.
Sure.
Or do that. Like there's no... If I would have went to like watched like New Girl or I don't know, like Will and Grace or something like that. I'm trying to like, if I would have like went to watch one of those, I would have been like, no.
Well, it
Maybe
wouldn't
no
match up to
Frasier.
Frasier. Oh, you said it better, Joe.
Frasier.
Frasier.
Well, you said it like ain't no Frasier.
Oh yeah, I stopped at like season 3 or so of Frasier.
Man, it's so good.
My mom gave him all of the Frasier Christmas episodes on their own personalized DVD for Christmas, and he wasn't as excited as he should have been.
I was excited.
I am so pumped because I'd even said to Joe, like, you know what would be great if, like, around Christmas, I just sat and watched all the Christmas Frasier episodes. And then my mom gave it to you. It was
Yeah.
unreal. She
That's
was
a
the wrong
pretty cool
person.
gift.
pretty
Personal,
cool, yeah.
personalized.
Mm-hmm.
She like
Well-
put like Frasier stickers on the CD or something like that.
No, it was like a DVD that was made just of the Christmas episode. Like, my mom didn't make it up.
It was autographed by David Hyde Pierce.
Oh, my god.
I would have liked that.
Claire, who is your favorite character in Frasier? Do you have one?
No,
I do, 100%.
You do? Who's yours?
I also have some of my favorite moments.
Oh, I have a lot of moments, but I do want to hear about them. But who's your favorite
Niles.
character?
Niles is my favorite.
I feel like Niles has the most growth and oh my gosh,
He definitely has
the
most growth,
acting.
and he's amazing.
It's unreal. Like his physical comedy, and then also just his timing, and I don't know, it's fantastic.
I think most of my favorite moments are between one of the brothers and Martin, the dad, because they always have moments where they're always super serious, but then they're really funny. I forget what. Oh, I think Frasier and Martin were just fighting, and then they both started crying.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a Christmas episode.
Is that a Christmas one?
I
Yeah, it
made
is.
Joe
I've
watch
seen it.
that one.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And they start crying, and then they're like, why are you crying? And then they're both crying, and then they're trying to, like, hide it. And it's like, this is not only hilarious but also emotional. It was so good.
I just got to the episode where they thought that Martin wasn't their dad.
Oh, for like 4 seconds.
Yeah, but I had a moment.
Yeah.
I thought that connection was lost.
But now it's found. And then another one was Frasier did a Halloween party that no one came to, so it was only like Frasier, Roz, and Martin and Daphne and Niles or whatever, and they were supposed to dress as their heroes, and Niles dressed as the dad. And he it was perfect. He had like a little stuffed dog and a cane, and he like laughed and did all these like Martin like character things, and he was like, it was perfect. It was so funny. And then Niles just drank beer all night long there, and he got just super drunk on beer, and then it got like really serious because he like said like shit that was like he like really pissed the dad off. It was amazing.
I feel like I watched an episode and I was like, Joe would really like this, but then he quit Frasering. So.
Well, you could just give me like your top 10 list of Frasier episodes, and I can watch those in between.
Okay.
I wouldn't say Frasier's like a show like necessarily that you have to like watch every single one of them.
Oh, I totally agree.
In a way, but like, man,
some of them real good.
It's just never bad.
Yeah.
There's really not like a bad episode.
The floor is real high and the ceiling is even higher.
Yeah, I mean, you're just floating the whole time.
You're just in the penthouse of some...
I feel like you guys should get some sort of like Frasier connection happening. Like there's got to be a fan club or something that you guys can be part of.
No, there's Reddits.
Oh, you're about that life.
There's definitely Reddits. So we're watching Family Matters today.
Yeah, back to that. We forgot what you're here for. Or Urkel, as I like to refer to it, or I did as a child.
Oh.
I don't think any of us have like really like watched the show from beginning to end, but we're all like familiar with the premise of the Winslow family plus Steve Urkel.
I mean, it was TGIF.
I feel like the most time I've spent watching the show is I think it was on like during lunch in high school.
Oh, you weren't
really?
a TGIF kid?
Well, I mean, like I watched it some then, but like the most recent time I'd seen it a lot is like in high school.
I've just seen episodes here and there.
Okay.
So yeah, I really don't know much.
So I might be the expert, but I can't even remember anything about it.
Do you know that like it gets like weird by the end?
I know he like turns into Stefan and he like has like a laboratory.
There's a lot of like mild sci-fi elements.
Yeah.
Does he want to? I think that like didn't he just want to be like cool? Like he was done being like a nerd or something.
Yeah, like Jaleel White was like sick of just playing the nerd the whole time.
Yeah. And he was
like, but I'm cool in real life, so let's be cool in the show.
Yeah, he must have had a lot of control. I don't know.
He was like, I mean, he was definitely like the main character in the show almost. Like, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just me, as someone who doesn't know much about the show, I think Urkel's like the main character. And he's not even the family. He's not even in the family.
Wasn't he like, he always made some mistakes and like breaks things, but he wants to be super helpful. They all don't like him. He's kind of like sexually harassing Laura. Mm-hmm. But like, it had to been like hard for that actor to always be the butt of every single joke. Like,
I would be fine with it based on how popular my character is.
That's a good point. But he was like,
I mean, he's
at an awkward age though. Wasn't he like a teenager when he started?
Well, he was adolescent when he grew up, and then growing into it 9 years.
But here's the thing: is like if you're Jaleel White, like on the show, you're like Steve Urkel, super nerd. Like, do you think people like recognize him in public?
I bet like not really.
So he just gets to like in his real life, he just gets to be a super rich like regular dude.
Sounds like he didn't want that. I mean, did you want to be a super rich regular dude when you were 22?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Oh, well, you're weird.
I'm in. I'll do that.
You guys are old now, though.
Hey, you're older, aren't you?
I'm old, too.
Older than us.
I'm young at heart. I'm old. Yeah. Was there, like, okay, who lives in the house? It was like, I feel like there's 2 kids or there are 3 kids.
You mentioned something about contention.
And then there's a sister to the mom, and then she has a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't remember that kid's name. And then there's maybe a grandma, but I might be getting this confused with, like, another show.
No, yeah, there's a grandma.
Okay.
You're thinking about the old dinosaur from Dinosaur.
That's what I was thinking too. I feel like when I try to picture the grandma from Family
what I
Matters,
keep
I think of the
seeing.
grandma from the dinosaurs.
They look so similar.
I don't even know what the grandma in Family Matters looks like. I pictured the old dinosaur.
Okay, well, I'm glad that all of us have that mutual memory or connection.
It's probably the same actress.
Okay, so how many kids are there in the house?
I feel like we should wait on that.
5.
I love it. I think it's like 2 or 3 or something like that. But you can't just like kill a kid on like a show. I don't know,
Who's killing kids?
I mean, definitely
Urkel.
Yeah.
Oh
He's just
no!
like-
In his laboratory.
And he's just like, did I do that?
He's holding a bloody chainsaw.
It's a Halloween episode. It worked.
I can see it. First episode, the family is sitting in the living room, and Urkel like breaks down the front door on accident.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's gonna be back
within
door.
like 3 minutes, he goes, "Did I do that?" And then it's established that he's like the Kimmy Gibbler
Oh, good comparison.
of the show, like right away, because Full House had already been on, right?
I think so.
Or
I
was
think
on.
so.
And then
Watch us be wrong. I don't know.
and he probably sexually harasses Laura a little bit, gives her a little sh sexual harassment, and then the dad kicks him out, and then they're like, "Huh," and that's the end of the show. I think it stays in the house the whole time, and they're in the kitchen and the living room, and that's it.
I feel like when I'm thinking about the show, I'm getting it confused not only with dinosaurs but also Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like because it's like that jazz
two
would come
black
in and then they would
comedies
throw.
on TV.
No, oh my
You know,
gosh,
the Mount Rushmore of black comedies:
Wow.
Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
guys
and
are really-
Dinosaurs.
you guys are awful. No, but like jazzy or jazz or whatever would come in and then they would throw him out, and in my head it's like Carl never like picks up Steve Urkel and throws him out. Like that's a different. Like that's not the same thing, right?
Maybe. I
Or
don't know.
does Carl get physical? I can't
know.
imagine. He's like how I trusted cops as a child.
Not anymore, am I right? Just kidding, sorry.
I don't remember like the early seasons of Family Matters, but I feel like Urkel was very like it wasn't the Steve Urkel show until later.
Yeah, it's more family, but he just kind of bursts
Yeah.
in.
So I feel like in the first episode, like when maybe you don't see Urkel until like after the first commercial break, and he's just there for a
Oh.
little bit, but it's mostly about like Carl being a cop and like balancing his like home life with his work.
Joe is reading about the show, so he's probably right. So
I only read enough to find out that
full
Reginald
plot.
Bell Johnson is still alive.
oh, okay. How many did I do that's are gonna be in the first episode though?
Oh, 1 at most.
1?
I'm gonna say 0. I don't think he has any catchphrases yet.
I'm gonna go 2.
Because I don't think he was supposed to be a thing yet.
I think there's 1. I'll go 1. So
All
0,
right.
1, 2. Like it. You're
let's
wrong,
do it.
but it's fine. I mean, you're both wrong. I think it's 1.
You just want the points.
Yeah.
I bet.
I 19 episodes in, I better be the point leader.
Does anyone remember the name of
No
the
one
brother?
knows.
The
No,
oldest
but I
brother?
can picture his face a lot, and I feel like no, that's
Eddie?
a different show.
Eddie.
Yes.
I bet he dances in this first episode. I feel like that's a thing.
Was a little boy named Reggie though? No, Eddie and Reggie. That wouldn't work. The sister's kid.
I don't remember.
It's gonna bother me. Well, we'll have
Jackson.
to watch.
Reginald.
You're just gonna make up names.
No, I don't know. Well, all right. We've taken a really long time to get into the episode, but that's mostly because you're talking about Frasier. So that's fine. So let's just hop into it.
Yeah,
And
happen.
and then we'll be back when we're done with the first episode of Family Matters. You good with that, Claire? Is that okay with you?
I'm great.
Okay. See you soon, listeners. And we're back
And we're back.
from the pilot episode of Family Matters.
Oh wow.
No one said, did I do that?
Not even at all.
I'd love if like one of the little kids is like, "Did I do that?"
Nope. Didn't happen. It was a completely different show than I remember.
No Urkel, just FYI for those listening and not watching along. No Urkel.
Yeah, Wikipedia says that Urkel shows up as a guest star in episode 12 of this first season.
Wow.
And then later in syndication, they kind of sandwiched him in like cold opens of other earlier episodes, but he didn't become a regular until season 2.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would watch season 1. Like, I know that it's a pilot, and it was like heartwarming family times, and I'm sure that Joe's about to go through it, but
Yeah, whatever, yank, whatever. Heartwarming.
I didn't LOL, except for when I thought about the grandma's the dinosaur.
Yeah, except for when the grandma opened the door for the first time and Joe was showing a picture of the dinosaur grandma from Dinosaurs. That was the only time I laughed. Quick synopsis is when Harriet invites Mother Winslow to come live with them. Mother Winslow starts bossing everybody around. The whole family doesn't get and the whole family doesn't get along. I'm reading it from really far away. Meanwhile, Eddie wants to go to a party, but Carl won't let him go. So Mother Winslow tries to convince Carl to let him go to the party and eventually does in exchange for easing up on the other family members.
Yeah, she's the advisor now.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest conflict in this whole... Well, there's two conflicts. Mom moved in.
Yeah.
Grandma moved
Big
in.
conflict.
And then they... Sorry, I should have gone to the bathroom. No, they don't probably know. This is... Wait till the end of the episode. You guys will get it. But...
Oh, man.
Yeah, Mom comes in and everyone's like, I don't know. And it was just very typical of like, oh, your bossy mom is going to come.
Yep.
Yeah.
Living with the in-laws.
They set up all the characters. There's an extra little girl, and Laura was kind of mean to her. Another daughter.
Yeah, draw me out the Winslow family.
You want me to?
Like,
Yeah.
actually draw it. We'll put it in the
I
video.
mean, I love
I'll
a good
start.
art moment. Maybe I'll work on that at the end. But we have Carl and Harriet. They're married, right?
Yeah.
They apparently in this have 3 children. They have Eddie, Laura, and little girl who I question
Judy.
mark. Judy?
Judy.
I didn't get that at all.
And then we have the sister who is Rachel.
And that's Harriet's sister.
Harriet's sister Rachel, and she has her son Little Richie and her husband, was it Little Richie?
Dead husband.
Dead. The husband had passed away, so she moved into the house. Then this episode we see Grandma moving in,
Yeah.
and it was conflict.
She's moving on in.
So that's kind of a full house.
I mean, it really is. Eddie's in the attic now.
Yeah, there's...
Spying on Steve Urkel through the window.
Like, how many bedrooms does that house have? Let's think about it.
Well, you assume, obviously, Carl and Harriet probably share a room.
I'm assuming it's 4 bedrooms
The
plus
2
the attic,
girls
right?
probably share a room.
Yeah, because
Right.
it talks about the kids sharing.
Grandma gets a room.
Grandma gets a room.
Rachel gets a room.
And Rachel and her kid get a room.
Right.
And then the attic where Eddie lives.
That's gotta be a large size
4
house for
bedrooms.
like South Chicago,
Yeah.
right? Or was it South Chicago? They have a, I don't know which direction that is coming from.
I mean, it's, it's close to the city.
I didn't see the lake in correlation to the city.
I'm
when they did
asking
the big
Joe
panning
because
views.
he's like from Chicagoland, so like I figured you could be like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah, that's
know
where my parents grew up.
You didn't know the cross streets of that house when they showed
I mean,
it
I
from the
kind
outside?
of like want to go look for it. I don't know. Yeah. And the credits were kind of long. That was interesting.
That's a thing that old shows did, though. Like, the intros were always so long. And I bet it's longer just because it's the pilot, so they show the whole thing, and then as they go on, they cut it up.
Yeah, that's when we knew that, like, things are about to go down is because Urkel wasn't in the credits. And we're like, oh, is he not in this episode at all?
Oh, yeah, like, right away, it was like, there was no Urkel in the credits.
Yeah.
But it was like there wasn't a lot of the laughs that I remember. But I'm also like, am I just not a 5-year-old kid? So like this isn't hitting it as
seemed
hard.
to me like it wasn't, like, at least for this pilot, it wasn't targeted towards kids. It was more targeted towards like young, like the parents of young families. Because it was a
Yes.
lot about the relationship between like Carl and his mom. Like he's trying to raise his own family but still trying to deal with his parents or his mom, which is a very specific like 32-year-old thing. Like I feel like this like at least the pilot wasn't for kids. It was for
32-year-olds? Like, you just picked like a random number there?
Yeah, I think Carl and Harriet are early 30s.
How old were they when they had Eddie? He's 15.
So they're 17.
Yeah.
Really, Joe?
Okay, maybe
You're a
little bit
math
older.
teacher, Claire. Can't you do
I
32
know, but I
minus
was waiting for
15?
Joe to like calculate that and then be like, oh yeah, they had like a kid in high school. I don't think so.
I bet they're older than what you said,
I
Joe.
think they're
So
early
40?
40s.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
early 40s.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little different, man. A little different. But yeah, I was pretty surprised. I don't think, was this on that TGIF when it first
I
started?
think it was part of that.
And maybe that wasn't as kid friendly then. Because, I mean, I just remember it being like commercials.
I was never really into TGIF. I was into
man.
Nick at Night.
Yeah.
No.
Was
Well,
that
that's
what-
really, those
the
were like old reruns.
No, I meant with the Friday Nick at Night when it was like, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Snick.
Snick?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is?
But
that
that was
Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
That was Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, on Friday I went out because that was cool.
Just a ballin' little
in
kid.
1990, in 1989 when I was 4, and more so in 1997 when I was 12. In the last,
So cool. Yeah.
when I was 12, I was definitely just at home watching Nick at Night.
I don't know if you
Snick.
saw, but if you guys just watched this, you just caught this, would you watch the next episode?
I am currently not interested in this show at all.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I just don't think it's for me. Like,
The one thing about the show that I thought was going to be funny wasn't even in this episode.
The highlight of that last half an hour was the burrito I ate, to be honest. But I want to know, like, did you do any research? Because I know, and I didn't even write down predictions. Oh yeah, I did. I wrote one, and it's kind of sad. But did you at all look up what happened to the little girl? Did she get cut out in that first season? Did you see?
I looked it up. I mean, I guess you guys,
I didn't.
you probably know that she doesn't last, I guess.
I mean,
Does she last? Like, is she just not in the next episode because the first one was a pilot, or is
So-
she in some of them and then they just act like they didn't have a kid or something?
yeah. How did they?
She gets written out at like the end of like the 4th season.
The 4th season?
She's only like 10 though, or not even.
Did
maybe.
she like go away? Like,
They literally just wrote like they like stopped acknowledging her. Like they just pretend that she didn't exist anymore.
I wonder why.
This is just like budget. Like it became the Urkel show, and like it was one too many kids. So peace out.
Also, if Urkel would have been in it, I would have been right with 5 kids as a guess. Just FYI. There was 4 without Urkel, and he would have been a kid.
Yeah,
But wow.
yeah. It's weird.
I want to see that. Where are you now? Like, I'm the kid that got cut out of Family Matters.
She became Raven from That's So Raven. No, it's not true.
No.
Raven. She was on Cosby Show. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
She went on to star on Dinosaurs. You might have heard of
She
it.
was the brother Eddie in Dinosaurs. Is that what's the brother's name?
It's like Ricky or something.
Oh, yeah, I
Like,
think
No,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
don't know.
little kid in this show.
I don't remember the
A lot of
dude's
correlations
name.
between Family Matters and
Rocky.
Dinosaurs.
But no Steve Urkel.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm trying to come up with like I'll hit it, and maybe someone has like wacky predictions for this, but I'm trying to come up with like just like what is like the whole last episode's got to be like totally the Urkel show in a way. And
Yeah.
he's got to be doing some just kooky, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I remember like the Steve and Stefan thing. So like, are they both gonna be in the last episode, or is it just gonna be Steve?
I was kind of thinking that they mess around with Steve and Stefan, but then coming back around to like, no, Steve's actually cool. And
I
so it's
bet
just
Okay.
Steve
I
by
bet
the end.
it becomes a redemption for Urkel of some sort. Like you don't need Stefan to be cool.
Okay. Then remember he had some girlfriend, but he always still loved Laura. Like, is this gonna be like he's still pining after Laura and then gets her and then dumps the other girl? Because he had this other girlfriend that
he-
was weird.
Does he end up with Laura?
Yeah,
in the
does he
end?
end up with Laura?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know the answer?
No, I
Okay.
don't. But
I'd vote yes. I feel like it's probably cheesy.
All right, I'm gonna vote no. My only prediction I wrote down. Are we doing that now?
Yeah.
Or am I jumping the gun?
No, you're good.
Is that Grandma, she passes away.
Oh, the first thing I wrote, Grandma's dead.
Dang, you love to make people die though.
Well, she's old already. in the Jurassic period's far
According
over.
to Joe, she's like, what, 50?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a young fam.
Young fam, 30-year-old grandma, 50.
I bet she's still around.
You really think so?
Yeah.
They wrote out a whole child and didn't say a word.
Can't believe it.
You don't think
But
in 9 years they would kill off a grandma?
It would have been one thing if they had wrote off that little girl, like, the second episode or end of season 1. But end of season 4?
Yeah, right?
I mostly just assumed, like, she was in the pilot and then she just wasn't in the next episode.
Yeah, that
and
makes
then
sense.
you just don't say anything because it's just like, that was the pilot. It doesn't matter. Because, like, Kramer changed.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too initially, but then I looked it up and I was like, yeah, crazy. I don't know.
I only have one other, like, prediction based without the Urkel and the grandma thing. And I think that Eddie has a kid and his kid's name is Carl.
Oh.
Don't you mean?
Did I do that?
Wow. Maybe, okay, I'm trying to think of something.
You're just trying to whim predictions and wish them out
No.
of the air?
Well,
there?
Joe, what are your predictions? Why ponder?
So I didn't write any predictions down, but I kind of have a thought for what I think the last episode is.
You're going to walk us through the last episode?
Yeah. And
Ooh.
it's
My walkthrough of the first episode was very wrong, by the way.
it's they're at the end of the second to last episode, like Steve and Laura were gonna get married, but then Steve got like trapped by one of his inventions. Like he invented like a flying car or something. And,
Well, Laura was in love with Stefan. I'm sorry, I just remembered that.
yeah, but by the end, she's in love with Steve.
Oh,
They're
okay.
getting
Because it's
married.
And so they were going to
Redemption.
get married the previous episode.
But then Steve's flying car gets stuck in like a tree or something on the way to the wedding, and that's where the second to last episode ends. So we open up with Steve trapped in a flying car. Maybe he's there with Eddie because Eddie's his best man, and they're trying to get out of the car, and Laura's waiting at the chapel, and they reminisce about the good times.
Or is it going to be a clip show?
As long as they're not
little bit of a
dangling,
clip show.
as long as they're not dangling from a hot air
That's
balloon.
pretty much what I'm imagining. It's
think
like the same thing. They're just dangling from a tree.
You think they're gonna do the perfect strangers ending?
Yeah.
You, like, by you stating that hypothesis,
Yeah.
it made me totally visualize the Urkel mobile. I think it was called the Urkel
Oh yeah, it's like a little
mobile.
bug that like would like open up.
Open in
front.
the front. And I remember him one time getting stuck on a cliff in that.
Okay.
Maybe it's
Maybe
this
that's it.
episode. Maybe this is all coming back to me.
Yeah.
I didn't remember
It's all
that little
coming back
girl
to you
though.
now.
So yeah, then at the end they get to the chapel and Steve and Laura get married and everyone's happy and
Or maybe they'll fuck it up like Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and it'll be like, oh, spoilers. No, I'm not gonna do it. I can't do that. This isn't a spoiler cast.
Oh my.
I almost went too far, real hard.
no.
Reel
But if you
it
guys
back.
want to listen to a spoiler cast, it's on Tiger Castle YouTube channel.
Oh,
Me,
yeah.
Joe, and Jimmy did a spoiler cast. Type in
And Josh played Star Wars Bounty Hunter and like had a real rough time jumping on platforms and
Yeah,
grabbing on ledges.
you really didn't like that video. I had a Star Wars related video for the spoiler cast we did, and Joe was real mad about my platforming ability. It was a PlayStation 2 game, man. It was hard. It's fucking hard.
Any final thoughts about like the premiere? Or is there
The
other weird
kitchen is
things?
gonna have new appliances.
Oh, I have a kitchen thought. We gotta get to this last episode, but I think it's gonna be. I think it has to, as long as it's not a Felicity-esque clip show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be better because this first episode was lacking.
Yeah.
But
Well, they can't clip back to the other daughter, so it
Good.
can't be a clip
well,
show.
she wasn't in every scene. But they kept their fruit so high in their kitchen.
It was looking like a hanging basket.
It was in a hanging basket.
That's
that
how
was like,
mine was when I was a kid. Maybe
the bottom of the basket hanging from the ceiling was at like the top of the fridge, and it was like this house was like no kids are allowed to eat fruit.
So in the final episode, there's just
The
gonna be
basket's
fruit.
on the ground. The basket's.
Oh man.
I bet if I have one fruit prediction is that they moved the fruit to the countertop or the table. That's,
just the opening shot is just like Richie eating a banana. And you're just like, this is great.
I'm gonna flip a table.
Oh, I'm gonna think that Richie and Rachel aren't in the final episode.
Oh.
They're not in it. They're gone. I think
Well,
they're gonna go.
Richie is probably he's dead. So
You can't make everybody die.
no, I meant like Daddy Richie, not Baby Richie.
Oh, sorry.
Ah.
I wasn't with you. But
Didn't
now
know.
I am.
Not all jokes land. You know?
It's okay.
It's fine. All right. Well, let's watch that last episode, and we'll be back after that.
Okay.
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 Did I do that? It's something we never heard. Welcome back to the final episode of Family Matters.
Another two-parter.
It was a two-parter. Lost in Space is what it was called.
A two-parter, and none of the two parts were a clip show.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Well, how
Did you
could you
know?
have a clip show when none of the family is the original family?
You're so mad about that.
I'm sorry. Like, what? Do you want? Are you recapping?
I'm looking it up, yeah.
Does it say like we killed all of the people in the family?
I did some research on like what.
Oh, thank you. I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know. I'm only going to read, so it was a two-parter called Lost in Space Part 1 and Part 2. Recap for Part 1 was, we find out, I'm just going to say it really quick and then I'll read the Part 2 recap. I don't read both of them. Part 1 was Urkel and Laura are engaged and going to get married, and then Urkel gets accepted into the space program, essentially, and he's going to be the first student in space in 6 months. So then he goes into space. And that was what happened in the first episode.
They have to postpone their wedding.
Yeah, to go to space, though. And then, according to Wikipedia, the last episode, NASA struggles to recover the astronauts and save Urkel's life. However, it all ends well, and Steve returns to Earth a national hero. Meanwhile, while on meter duty, Eddie finds himself in the middle of a shootout because Eddie's a cop now. Eddie survives thanks to the lucky bulletproof vest Carl gave him. During that time, Carl and Eddie help Harriet realize that the job is dangerous and she needs to support them no matter what. She sees Laura at the end of the episode and says, "You got..." Oh, Steve. I said not she. Steve sees Laura. Wow, they're really recapping the post-credit thing. Steve sees Laura at the end of the episode and says, "You get more beautiful every time I see you." Laura then says she will kiss him only on one condition. Steve will have to promise never to go to space again. And Steve replies, "Only when we kiss, Laura." Only when we kiss. And then they do, with a final applause from the audience. That really said that, by the way.
Yeah.
I really read that. And I don't think they'll...
That seems like you made it up.
It does. Well, I repeated... For the listeners to know, I repeated, "Only when we kiss, Laura Lee." Only when we kiss, about 20 times after we just heard that. Because there was a little bit of pause, and I just wanted to hear him just keep, "Only when we kiss, Laura Lee." Claire, you loved this episode. These episodes.
I mean, I'm still mad about the family. Like, okay, let's go through the original cast.
What did you say?
It's still there.
If family matters, then where's the family? You yell.
I did yell that in the middle of the viewing session because, okay, first off, there's random little boy.
Yeah, there's a new kid. He looks to be maybe 12 or 13. Do you
Richie,
think?
dude.
He's a preteen.
It's not Richie because he's like street savvy.
Yeah, his name is 3J.
Oh.
And he's a boy that...
Not okay. Keep going.
Carl and Harriet adopted him.
Was it Harriet or was it
That was Harriet.
new stepmom, fake Harriet?
There's only one Harriet.
No, that lady was not Harriet. She was not my mom.
That lady was playing the character of Harriet.
It's true.
Yeah, what Claire's talking about is the actress who plays Harriet was replaced in the last season.
Do you know why?
the original Harriet just wanted to do other things.
Oh.
She actually said that she wanted to leave earlier, but she was like bound by contract and just left as soon as she could.
She wanted to leave after they made her other child disappear.
Yeah.
But she was bound by contract for 5 extra seasons or something.
So grandma's gone. Could be dead.
Grandma,
When they're not on screen, they're dead.
Grandma got married and moved out of the house and made occasional appearances.
Sister Rachel and Richie gone.
Dead.
Yeah, not sure. I didn't look them up.
It didn't matter.
We already talked about the other sister that got lost.
Yeah.
But we still have good old Eddie and Laura and Carl.
Yep.
There's still Ridge. And the only other big character that came back that I remembered was, Myrtle? Was that
Myra.
Myra. Because you said Myrtle.
I said Myrtle because
yeah.
I thought it was I didn't know. I knew there was a
But
Myrtle.
Myra was always in love with Steve.
Right.
But you were so right at calling that Steve and Laura got together.
Oh, yeah. For
That
sure.
was impressive.
So,
I'm not impressed by that.
like,
That
it's
was-
only Carl, Eddie, and Laura that were in the pilot that are in this finale.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Again.
maybe family really doesn't matter. Am I right, Claire?
Exactly.
As days go by, it's the bigger love of the replacement family.
Only when we kiss.
I feel like you all need to watch this because a lot of these jokes are just pretty
Here's the thing.
specific. Don't watch
You
it.
don't. You don't
Yeah.
The biggest thing that struck me is like a lot of times when we watch the last episode, and even if it's bad, like you can tell like the production quality has like gone up from like the first to last. But it seemed like for this, like they gave no more fucks. They're just like, let's just end this show. We're done.
It definitely looked like more like a kid's show in this time because Steve's going to space looks super fake and like weird footage of Houston and
Yeah, all the jokes were just Steve making a goofy face.
yes.
Like there was no actual like.
But you laughed a lot more.
Oh, just because of how ridiculous.
There
it
was actually jokes in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the first episode like barely even had jokes.
Okay, what did you guys think about the lucky vest? Because I think you all know what I think about a vest it's a bulletproof vest that Carl gives to Eddie. And he said that he had gotten shot when Eddie was 5.
Yeah.
So Eddie is now a cop. How old do you think he's at? Well, Steve and Laura are 21. So he would be like, what, 23? Something like
Yeah, he was
that?
15 when the show started, and it's 8 years later.
Okay. So 24 or 23.
Yeah.
I thought it was 9 years later, but whatever. But they're having this vest then.
Okay.
It's like super old and has already been shot, and he's giving it to his son. Like, yep, just wear this bulletproof
Yeah, I
vest.
kind of feel like a bulletproof vest is like a bike helmet. Like it's only good for one crash. Like,
I mean, but getting shots like lightning, you don't ever get shot in the same spot. So
you just
It's probably
rewear
fine.
it.
no, that's stupid. You obviously wouldn't. Rewear
Also,
that.
like, hasn't technology gotten better? Like, isn't there a better vest?
You would think
I don't
after
know,
like
man.
15 years.
Yeah.
I would assume that. I mean, I thought right away that was just like this is my vest. I got shot. Like it means a lot to me. You're a cop. This is a cop thing. You know, like the passing of or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in Frasier when the dad gives somebody his like badge.
Uh huh.
You know, they're not gonna go wear the
You're not
badge
gonna
at
go
work.
visit.
You know.
Niles would, but
So I thot it was like that, but then he actually wore it. I
He
was
actually
like,
wore it, and he actually
And-
got shot.
and the cop scene with the shooting. Wow.
what was that guy? That guy was like just robbing like a bakery, and he like with a 6-shooter, and he was just blowing up the street.
Yeah, Eddie just happened to be there, and he chased after this robber. And they had a shootout. Eddie got shot.
But he's like full on running with this gun. Like gun safety was not thought about.
Oh yeah,
in the
he was
quality.
not a convincing cop
No.
because he was just running with a like he was like waving the gun around in the air.
well, it's
while
like
he was
day 3
running.
of being a cop, you know? He's still figuring it out.
I also couldn't handle that the next scene he was like trying to convince his mom, like, Mom, I've had the best training. Like, I really know what I'm doing. And I'm like, did you just see this footage? Like, don't let your mom watch this. Like, she's going to tell you can't be a cop.
Don't worry, cops didn't have body cams back then.
Yeah.
True.
That's how you know Eddie was a bad cop, because like
He didn't immediately murder someone not resisting.
You're supposed to just shoot right away and then ask questions later, right?
That's what cops do.
I don't know, bros. I also didn't find Laura and Urkel convincing. Like, they're being chased until 3 months after their wedding or something.
Well, no, that was a joke.
Oh, I missed it because it was so funny.
That was 4 seconds into the first episode of the finale.
Not.
Yeah, Urkel said something to Laura about like, oh, there's this Urkel family tradition where you don't consummate the marriage until 3 months later. And then they were both just like, nah, let's not do that. And then Urkel's like answering the door and he's like walking away singing like "Consummate My Marriage" or something.
I'm gonna consummate my marriage.
Which is what you do when you're a nerd and you're getting married.
Is it?
When you wait for marriage, like a good old boy.
Urkel's about to go to outer space. Tell you what.
The minute they were like, well, we won't get married and we'll wait till we go to outer space, I was like, you guys better get to it. If you know what I mean.
It didn't look like they did because, like, when they would do, like, the kissing scenes, it would remind me of, like, when I was in high school and you'd be at a dance and they'd be like, leave room for the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of room for the Holy Spirit.
No, that's part of what I feel like when I was saying that, like, no one gave a shit. It just seemed like everybody was, like, really done with working on this show. And, like, even, like, the actors are just like, it's not, like, a fun finale. Like, oh, I'm going to miss you guys. It's just like, we done yet? Like, I got to kiss you now? Like, whatever. Just get this over with. That's the whole vibe of this like last episode.
So maybe the show peaked at like season 5.
And they just had to keep doing it because it was making money.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and like even Jaleel White hates it.
Well, man, you got that his Urkel voice that he had to do forever. I was like, man, that's his day at work. Ugh. I get why he wanted Stefan more.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, I'm cool.
So cool. But I didn't love that they kept being like, it was like Nerd Watch 98, and they kept being like, the nerd, let the nerd do it. I was like, Is that really
a
that?
A lot of nerd shaming on this Urkel show.
But maybe that's funny to like 10-year-olds. I don't know.
I really don't know who this last episode was supposed to be for. Is it a kids show? Like, you're saying it's a kid's show because it's stupid, but I just feel like it's just stupid.
It was, like, program at Friday night. It was, like, family watch kids show. Like, they were, like, preteen, teen. At least that's what I always thought. Like, this, Step by Step.
Yeah.
What else was on? The Dinosaurs.
Yeah, but, like, Dinosaurs was for, like, kids. So, like, you know, kids and teens, probably. Like, Step by Step was for, like, parents. Like, it was funny for parents.
Yeah, it's more of a family show.
It's more like a family show, so the kids can watch it, and maybe they'll watch it because their parents are watching
That's
it.
the appeal of a family show. It's a show the parents can watch that the kids can kind of appreciate too.
Yeah. So, like, Step by Step is, like...
So this isn't a family show?
Well, that's what, like...
That's what I'm wondering.
That's
is
what
like,
Joe's getting at. It's, like, so stupid that it's, like... Did adults, like, really think this is funny? They should be smarter than that.
Yeah, and it's not enough, like, kid fun stuff for kids. Like, who wants to watch a story about, like, a dude being a cop for the first time and getting shot?
Although, I gotta be honest, like, the diversity on this show, I kept being like, that's kind of great. Because, like, even on the spaceship, there was, like, him, and there was, like, another African-American guy, and then the white guy with really bad hair. And then back at Houston, there's, like, a lot of characters of color. And I think that probably, like, I mean, Step by Step probably didn't have anybody.
Well, I think that was, like,
it.
the... kind of like the driving force behind the show when it started was like it's like we already had the Cosby Show, but this is like a black family, but they're like more working class, and I think that was the kind of appeal. I snuck a peek at the description for episode 2 when we were just like staring at episode 1, and it's Harriet loses her job, so it's a little more like working class family type drama.
Yeah,
living on one income now.
A cop's income. Good
cop's
income.
I don't know, man.
What does Laura do? Does she have a job? Or she's like hanging
Yeah,
out.
she's Steve's wife.
Not yet.
No, I don't know what she does.
Not discussed. Not important.
Part of me, I went to Step by Step. I want to be like, she works at a salon. It's the wife from Step by Step. No. Yeah. Yeah. Step by
right.
Step, she has the salon outside the garage or whatever.
Isn't that Suzanne Summers?
I don't know.
How old are Steve and Laura at this
21, they said.
point? 21.
Steve's 21, so I'm assuming Laura's 21 too.
So they might both be in college or something.
Well, he was definitely in college or something because he was the student.
For student
For
in space.
student-
But he
space,
couldn't
and he
get a
was
job
21.
at Taco Bell.
Remember 6 months ago when I couldn't get a job at Taco Bell?
Wait, is that a line of dialogue that I missed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were outside.
Yeah. Did you hear his reenactment? Like, he said it perfectly.
Spot on. Spot on. And Jameel White had to do that for 9 years.
You think in everyday life he like will accidentally do that every now and then?
No.
You don't think so? Or it'll
No.
Just be like he's like at a party hanging out with some friends and he like knocks over a vase and he's like, oh shit, did I do that? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh shit.
I'm absolutely positive he doesn't do that.
He knocks over a vase.
But
He goes,
can you
Fuck,
imagine-
I did that.
I bet,
I fucking did that.
but I'm sure he was been like followed around by people being like, hey, can you be Urkel? Like, I'm sure he hates it. Although maybe now, since it's been long enough, he's feeling nostalgic, and maybe he can get, what is this, on ABC or something? Maybe he should have them remake the show, just because like every other show is being remade.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be fucking remade like everything else.
Like
Stupid.
him and Laura like have a family and like next door there's a nerdy kid that they're annoyed with.
I could see that could actually be interesting, but not if the writers are the same as this show.
They're probably not hiring the same writers 20 years later. We're getting the whole family back together because remember, guys, family matters.
Oh,
I wonder if they ever said the titular line in this show like that. Yeah, I don't know why I feel like Claire is more in contention with this, but I do like Joe, like you said. I don't really. It seems like it's fractured in such a way that it doesn't really appeal greatly to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I don't.
Like, I mean, I guess the only thing is like kids must really have liked Urkel.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of drove it in its like middle years. Is like there's this funny Steve Urkel character, and he's just a wacky zany character, and it's fun to watch. Like I feel like that, like when we were watching Perfect Strangers last week, that like people want to see Bronson Pinchot like be wacky and hilarious.
He was great. He
Yeah.
was the driving force of that show for
So
sure.
for this, I could kind of see it's the same. Like it's the same thing. People want to see Urkel be wacky, but you can only do that for so long, and you could tell that the actor. Like, clearly he's, like, done with this bullshit.
And it's just like aging out of the character.
Yeah. He's not quite as skinny and nerdy as he was, and, like...
Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a lot more LOLs. I was thinking it was going to be like a blast from the past, and it kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
But maybe like if there's like a couple hidden gem episodes that I could get into, but
You gonna go find him? You gonna look for him?
I'm interested to see the one where he
Just
first
trails
shows
off.
up. Season 1, episode 12, where he first shows up. I'm interested to see that episode.
I could see that. Like I put it on while I like make food.
you know what's interesting? Because like I found that the DVD of this season 1, and it's Urkel on the cover of it.
Yeah, I mean it's Urkel on all of the covers. But he's
Yeah,
not.
well, like they were, like in syndication, and I bet on the DVDs too. They added him to like episodes before episode 12.
Like he had his own little intro.
Yeah, like they added a cold open to the episodes where it's like Urkel.
That's crazy.
So he would only be at the very beginning, and then he wouldn't be in the actual episode at all.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, my final rating on Family Matters is it's not Frasier, and I don't want to continue to watch any more of it. This is now become First and Last has now become Find Me a New Frasier, and it's not Family Matters.
Not this week, no.
No, this week did not win the Frasier Award.
I mean, family doesn't really matter, is what I learned.
I think it's weird too that they replace Harriet with like a lesser actress, like not her own fault, like she has to replace someone that had a very iconic role. I feel like after Steve and Carl, or maybe even before Carl, like after Steve, like the most like notable character is like Harriet, and the way she was portrayed by Joe something or other. I looked up her name once, but then like, so they had to replace her, but then they gave the new mom like so much screen time.
Yeah.
Like you would think that they would try to hide her and just like, let's just roll with Eddie and Carl and Laura, like, and we'll just have the mom be a background character. But like she had like a lot going on in this episode, and it was all very weird.
But I also felt like the actress herself, like, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Like, I thought she was doing a good job portraying emotions and acting, actually. But, like, it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't the right mood. She wasn't hitting the same
It was just
beats.
a foreign, like, entity in this episode. It just, like, here's the three of the family that we know, and here's, like, a completely different character. Like, the whole time we were, like, wondering... Like, even though they were calling her Mom and Harriet, we were, like, wondering, is this, like, a stepmom? Or, like, is this a completely new character? Because it didn't feel natural.
Yeah. They really don't. It gets, like, almost like the audience or people watching the show, it just doesn't matter to them. Like,
Yeah.
you're not actually invested in the characters, especially because they just kind of let people go or go with whims.
Which, again, it's not the actress's fault. It's a hard situation to step into, but I think it's weird that they... emphasize that character so much. They could have just been like, new mom, but don't worry about that. Here's Urkel.
I'm glad they don't do things like this on TV anymore. Like they don't just replace a character and then just pretend like the new actor is the same person. Like they barely even do it in like movies. Like
I was gonna say like they did that with like
they
Iron Man.
Yeah, they did it with Don Cheadle in Iron Man
and like, the what's her name, Katie Holmes in the Batman movies.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, they did it, but and that was okay. But they haven't like done it. Like they wouldn't get like a new Iron Man and just like pretend like it's
same continuity.
Like they wouldn't be like, yeah, that's just it's not Robert Downey Jr., but it's the same guy. That's Tony.
But they
Stark.
do that all the time with like Batman and Superman, don't they?
Well,
and
that's
Spider-Man.
Like they do that, but that's like a different. That's like a well-known like, you know, obviously all the old Batmans, like there's been like 5 different Batmans, but that's kind of like they're not necessarily, it's not like the Marvel universe, like the Marvel movies now where like they're all connected.
And,
like the Batman movies were all just like single Batman movies, you know, kind of thing, except for Christian Bale one, you know, the 3, those were like that. But they don't like do that in shows now. At least they get rid of them. Like even in, I bring up New Girl again. I watched like the first 2 seasons of New Girl when it was on. It I thought it was great. But in the pilot of New Girl, they had a character. Like one of their roommates was a character. I think his name was Coach. I think he was Coach.
Yeah.
And then in the first episode, like after the pilot, they replaced Coach with Winston, a different like guy. And
but then they brought back Coach, right?
Well, so yeah, and they just never talked about it for like 3 seasons. Like just Winston was their thing, and I think they maybe even mentioned Coach every once in a while and been like, yeah, he moved out, like, and Winston moved in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was just the pilot where it's like that's a place where it's completely acceptable to just be like, oh yeah, we just don't have this character anymore.
Yeah.
But then they even brought Coach back later, and like they're like, Coach is back. And it was like that was just the guy from the pilot that.
But it's the same actor.
Yeah.
That's
and
impressive.
It's the same guy, so they didn't even like, you know, it's not even acceptable to like show somebody once anymore and just kind of like do that. Like I can't think of a show that would do that. Like could you imagine if like Big Bang Theory replaced like one of their characters? Like every sit at home like person would freak out.
I'm intrigued by that idea.
Like what show could do that? What show could pull that off?
A drama maybe. Because that way it's a little bit more. Because I feel like like comedy is so, it's so much more entangled with the actor's personality, whereas like a drama you could like, this character's a dickhead from seasons 1 through 5, and then he gets replaced with a different dickhead, and it's probably fine.
They did it with Anne on Arrested Development.
Did they?
The first time you meet Anne, it's a different girl, but they never like say her name.
That's hilarious though.
But it's very much Anne. Like you can tell who, like if you watch it, you can tell like that girl is supposed to be Anne, and then the next time they introduce her by name, it's that one girl who plays Anne the whole time.
Gotcha.
But it's funny because like her first, it's like, who's this girl? And then you're like, oh my god, that was supposed to be Anne. Because like even Maybe makes fun of her about how she was like so boring that like you can't even remember her name, kind of thing. Like, and how they always make fun of Anne. How they always get egg all glittered up for Easter.
Or even like I was gonna House of Cards, when they're like Kevin Spacey's leaving.
What are they gonna do?
Well, they're just writing his character off.
Okay, yeah,
like they're not trying to replace him.
I feel like that's what you gotta do, right?
I don't know. See, that's the thing, is like I would be intrigued if they were just like, oh, we just like replace them with a new actor.
They could, but isn't there? I've seen like 2 episodes of House of Cards. Isn't there like a lady in the show that's really prominent?
Yeah, the Robin Wright character is like somewhat equal.
I heard that they're just gonna keep going with her, maybe.
Yeah, that's also what I've heard.
I'm like really trying to think of a show that could pull off
just swapping out characters and pretending like they're the same.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of things that do that, but...
When, like, Charlie Sheen left 2.5 Men, and they just replaced him with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's a different character.
He's a different character. They just made up a reason why. Yeah.
And that was apparently bad. I didn't watch that. Are you guys really into that show?
No, never.
No.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Also,
I would have
never seen House of Cards. I was just talking.
I haven't either.
No, good. Nice.
I haven't either.
I haven't seen it. They didn't even do it with, like, because they didn't replace Eric on that 70s show, right? Like,
no, he was just gone.
He was just gone too, and that was an old show. That was 90s, early 2000s.
Huh. So I feel like they wouldn't do that now.
It's just something about like black moms and sitcoms that they feel like they could just replace.
Nope, didn't say that. Nope.
Just saying.
Joe's opinion.
Fresh Prince, Family Matters, dinosaurs.
Oh my god.
What if it was just a completely different dinosaur puppet? Like
they just made it a trope.
They just called it Grandma. It is a completely different dinosaur puppet.
It's just like a slightly like lighter skinned dinosaur puppet.
It's like instead
I
of
thought
like
we were planning on cutting all that out, and then now you brought it back up.
I think seriously though, I feel like that maybe a thing that messes with my head with the new Harriet is that like Laura, Eddie, and Carl and old Harriet are all like clearly like dark skinned black people, and then they replace it with like a weird like light skinned mom. Same thing in Fresh Prince.
I honestly did not even notice that, but that's probably because I wouldn't, and I'm not attuned
you don't
to
see
that.
color.
Oh my gosh, we're not about to talk about color blindness. How dumb that is. But you're absolutely right. But just also like even the way that the original Harriet portrays herself, it's a little bit more gusto, or I don't know. And this woman was a little more proper, and it just didn't have the right flow.
Original Harriet actress is great.
Yeah, she is great.
And that's probably why she was like, 8 years isn't fucking enough. I want to be done.
Yeah, I'm just like,
she was too good of. She was.
But it should have just been like,
Urkel
Mom passed away.
Oof.
Maybe that's too heavy for like a TGIF show.
But that's the thing that but that's the thing that makes like sitcoms really good is when the ability to actually mix like drama and serious stuff within comedy. Mm-hmm. That's what like truly makes those shows good. Mm-hmm. And that's not this show didn't do that.
Well, and yeah, exactly. This show wasn't that good.
Did you really feel like? Obviously it was silly because Urkel was in space, but did you ever think for like 1 second that like Urkel was never coming back, or like they might break up, or Eddie was gonna actually die when the guy with the gun came? Like,
you're right. But
there's no suspense whatsoever.
But that's why I think it's geared towards kids.
I mean, it has to be. It has to be for kids. I hope there was no marketing meeting where they were like, parents are gonna love this.
Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty disappointed. I would like to see like a clip reel of like good Family Matters moments, but it probably wouldn't be either of those episodes we just watched.
Mm-hmm. No, probably not. Any other comments, Joe, before we wrap this up?
My predictions were pretty spot on.
So spot on.
Oh yeah, I mean, mine. I didn't see the fruit
They removed that. There's like a stairwell there. So the
Oh,
fruit
really?
yeah, I tried to point it out to you.
Oh,
So there is no longer a hanging fruit basket.
okay, cool.
There's a stairwell.
Was there fruit on the counter at all?
No, not that I noticed.
They
And
just don't eat fruit anymore at
I
that
looked
house?
for it. I didn't see any.
Grandma was gone. I assume she's dead. And Eddie, unfortunately, did not have a kid named Carl. So he had a kid named The Force.
But he did kind of become Carl, so
Yeah.
I give you points for that.
All right. Half a point because he just became Carl. What if Eddie was like really fat, like in this episode too?
He was fit. Also, Laura was looking great.
Laura looked good.
Yeah, she was looking really. She was a very pretty person.
Okay, yeah, the kids look great. Urkel looked great. Myra looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Myra looked great. There's two chicks in love with this nerd dude, and they're both babes.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, he's the first nerd in space, so he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but they were in love with him before space.
Also, he has a machine where he can turn himself into a stud, so whatever.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Claire, when you're not on the podcast, where do you find us?
Oh, I mean, like, where do I listen to first and last?
Yeah, like how would you get a hold of us if you wanted to tell us?
Oh, how would I get a hold of you?
Besides giving us a call on
I'm
our
probably going to say the wrong thing.
Give it a shot.
Well, first off, you can find them on Stitcher, and you can look at First and Last Podcast, right? There's one.
Yeah,
And I'm sure that's on iTunes and other platforms, right?
Most places you can find podcasts.
Oh, great. I know you got a YouTube.
Yep.
You got a YouTube, and hopefully that picture of Joe eating a sandwich will end up on that.
It might end up on that.
Put this picture on YouTube.
Oh, and I don't even know when we talked about that, so hopefully whoever's listening knows what we're talking about.
I did take a picture of Joe eating a sandwich, so.
And I know you guys talk about Twitter all the time. And so what's that at Twitter?
Yeah, what is that?
Is it FNL Podcast?
Yep, F and L Podcast.
At twitter.com?
Yeah, that's at the Twitters.
I'm so proud of myself for knowing that. And then I'm sure you've got an email. Is it at like Gmail?
Yep, same thing at Gmail. F and L Podcast at Gmail. If you guys have any suggestions or you disagree with how we think about moms in black comedies, you can email Joe.
Yeah, if you're a super fan of New Harriet.
Well, I would agree. If anyone's a super fan, she's a very nice lady.
All right. Well,
Yeah, those are the places I would find you guys.
sounds good. Thanks a lot, Claire,
I mean, I
for
try my
joining
best.
us.
Hey, anytime.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have you back.
I hope so.
If you're lucky.
I mean, sure.
Or if Jimmy's busy again.
Yeah, or if Jimmy gets busy. So, one or the other.
Sweet.
All right, cool. Well, thank everyone for listening. And I was going to say watching, and I was like, it's not we don't show our faces.
Thank God.
We all have scars. So, but with that, we'll see you next week on the First and Last Podcast. Have a good week. And remember, family matters. Only when we kiss.